Hello everyone, welcome to the reading. This reading will be for the energetic storyline of Taylor Swift. So let's look and see what's happening. Let's see what her current energies are. So she's in the energy of trying to find balance. You know, she doesn't feel like things are balanced at the moment. So she's definitely trying to find some sort of balance. So let's see what that could be about. So she kind of feels like at the current moment, things are sort of not under her control. You know, I'm getting the energies like things sort of used to go her way all the time. And I feel like at the current moment, things aren't really sort of easy for her. So she feels like she kind of has to trust and sort of have faith that things will work out. So let's look deeper and see what else is going on with that. So she feels like an energy is sort of unfair. Energy that's sort of behind the scenes and how it operates. So that's really interesting. She feels like this sort of whatever this is supposed to represent in her life, she feels like it's almost like hoarding and kind of taking up all the oxygen in the room is what I'm getting. So that's pretty interesting. You know, but this hasn't made her give up hope. You know, she definitely feels like there's possibilities that all isn't over. So let's see what that's about. So it's kind of just about what this energy is, kind of letting things happen. You know, she feels like there's sort of things happening that's out of her control, but this is just kind of going with the flow. You know, she feels with not trying to do any harsh moves or not trying to make any power moves or anything, that's going to be a success for her. So let's see what else is going on. Yeah, so with this energy is about, I'm getting kind of the past as far as sort of when she was dominating the charts and all of that stuff. She isn't a has-been or anything at the moment, but she definitely understands there's been a shift in the energy, and the shift isn't in her favor. So she's definitely aware of that. Yeah, she feels now basically she's kind of an outsider in the situation. So I'm guessing this has to do with the music industry. She feels before she kind of had access to sort of all sorts of good media and sort of positive news stories and all that. And as far as making charts and sort of breaking charts, excuse me. And she feels like that time is gone basically. It's in the past, and it's kind of making her feel sort of she's an outsider, you know. So this is kind of this energy is always symbolic of a new start. So it's kind of what this card is showing is that this feeling is a new sensation for her. So it's kind of not so negative is what I'm getting. She kind of sees it as almost a positive, because I guess things has been so good for her, you know. So she's never kind of had a sort of sensation where she had to worry or sort of contemplate, you know, if she would basically continue being on top. Sorry, I kind of went dumb for a second. But yeah, basically what I'm getting is just she never had to worry about shit as far as being at the top of her field. And so now, since things are kind of different, it's a new sensation is what's being shown, you know. But she's definitely positive. You know, how can she not be? She's really rich and all that good stuff, and she's Taylor Swift. So I'm getting you know, she still feels good and stuff, but she definitely understands that there's been a shift in the energy. So yeah, that's what her current energies are. Let's see what she's been up to. So yeah. So what I'm getting is that with this sort of like change that she's feeling, like the shift in the energies as far as like the music industry, she sees that it'll be like challenges along the way. Like you see like that little hill or mountain is a representation of sort of like a challenge. So she definitely sees that there's going to be like a difference. So she's been trying to make preparation is what I'm getting with like how she's going to move and go about things. Yeah, but her energy is showing that she's going to succeed. She's going to it's going to be a positive sort of like prosperous situation for her. You know, at least that's how she sees it. And that's what I'm getting, the energies are showing, that it will be like a positive situation. So that's cool. Let's see where she feels like the music industry is headed. So she feels like the sort of like music industry is starting to be like exhausting. You know, she feels like there's so many like, how do I say this? There's so much you have to do these days, is what I'm getting, to like be sort of like successful. You know, you have to like be on TikTok, you have to be on Twitter, you have to be on all these different social medias. You know, then there's like streaming and sort of like promoting yourself. And she sees it as like an exhausting sort of like operation. So let's look deeper into that. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely like a burden type of energy for her. You know, I'm getting before was like, I'm getting a lot of like past energies with her. Like she kind of looks back a lot. So I'm getting kind of like before it was something that was just like more exciting, more fun. Now kind of like it's just different. Yeah, she doesn't feel like she's the master anymore in this sort of like dynamic that she's in. You know, like she feels like it's a lot of things that are out of her control, and that it's not so much about the music, that there's sort of like other things going on, like sort of like politics within her industry. So that's pretty interesting. Again, this is sort of like a representation of that, kind of like just like that nothingness that's going on in the background, but obviously that's not the case. My palms are sweaty, I guess. But anyway, yeah, this is kind of just like an energy of like what's happening behind the scenes. You know what I mean? Kind of like the average person wouldn't be privy to knowing these things, but she does. So it's kind of just like she understands that there's definitely something happening, you know. But I mean, like, she's trying to control herself, you know. I'm getting also like a lot of frustration. So she's like fuming at the same time, because she feels like, again, like with that sort of like politics that's happening in the background, it's kind of making her very agitated. So that's really interesting, you know. But this is kind of like the start of the reading. Like she's trying to find balance, you know. So it kind of makes a full circle type of like vibe here. But that's where she's at. Like she's trying to find balance and harmony. So that's pretty cool, I guess. Let's see. A moment. Does she feel like Olivia Rodrigo music is good? So that's interesting. Let's look into that. Does she feel like Olivia Rodrigo music is good? That's like some tea right there, so let's see what happens. Interesting. She doesn't have like a negative sort of like vibe with this. Like she feels like she almost has to nurture her. So I wasn't expecting that. I was kind of expecting maybe she would be like, I don't know, like jealous or kind of concerned, but she definitely feels like sort of, I guess, like she's more experienced. So she has to kind of like take a leadership role with her and kind of like nurture her and all that good stuff. So that's cool. Let's look deeper into that. So what is this nurturing energy about? Okay, so the fact that this was face down is an emotional sort of energy she's feeling. So it's kind of just like, I guess here goes like what would be seen as the negative side. She's kind of like in conflict though, because I'm getting like she wants to nurture her, but she understands that she's competition at the same time. So yeah, that's really interesting. So yeah, let's continue to go and see, like, I guess what else is happening in this reading. I'm kind of out of it at the moment. Let's see. Let's see her relationship with Olivia Rodrigo. Saying that name is funny. She feels like it's something that can be positive, but she understands that it's something that's dualistic as well. Like she understands that it's not just all positivity with it. So like her relationship with her is like cool. Like she's definitely cool with her, but she's kind of not like just operating just off of like, oh, I just love you and you're so great. She's also like making moves as well. So let's see what that's about. Yeah, so this is about sort of just like, she sees her as like competition. So she's trying to, even though like she's cool with her and trying to nurture her and all that good stuff, she's definitely trying to have like a breakthrough as far as her own career. You know, because she sees her as like competition and all. So yeah, interesting. The next question was, does Taylor Swift feel like Olivia will pose a threat to her? So let's see. Does she feel like Olivia? Yeah, she definitely does. She feels like she has to be strategic when dealing with this situation. So that's pretty cool. So let's see, how is she being strategic? It's like she's planning to go to war type of energy. That's why, like, you see the little guys on the unicorn ready to charge. So let's see, how will Taylor charge or go to war? Okay, the fact that card fell first, let's see. So it's kind of just like, she's not going to be vicious in this situation. Like, you know, you're not going to have like a Nicki Minaj sort of like Cardi B energy. You know, she's going to be like all dainty and stuff about it. So it's kind of just like, she's kind of just going to be focusing on sort of just like the music, you know. So she's focused more on the music and strategizing that way. Like, she's not going to be doing any like hardcore gangster stuff, obviously. Yeah, the next card is success. So sort of like this strategy will be successful for her, you know, instead of like being negative and like coming at it like with jacked up energies that's going to make people look at her a certain way. The fact that it's like a 4 in the top of this card, I'm kind of getting like wisdom. Like, she's not a fool, so she's been in sort of like this industry for so long that she's aware that, like, you know, if she does certain things, it's gonna sort of make people feel a certain way. So yeah, but again, she's definitely determined. You know, she definitely sees her as a challenge, as a threat, and she's going to act accordingly. So that's cool. My last question is, what surprise does the universe have waiting for Taylor? Let's see. This is a good question. Also, please like and subscribe and comment. I'd appreciate it. So basically, she's not done yet. You know, she's still going to be making like some big noise and music. You know, she's definitely still going to be a star. So that's what I'm getting. You know what I mean? But it's not going to be as sort of like, it's not going to be as like hardcore as it was before. Like, you know, she's still, you know, because she's Taylor Swift, so she has her name and all, and like her songs, and, you know, she's known. So it's going to be cool. But she's not going to have sort of like that same impact. So what this is showing is it's kind of just like, she's going to be resting more. You know what I mean? Kind of like, she's going to be on standby. So kind of like, that's the surprise, I guess, the universe has waiting for her. Like, she's going to come out with her music or whatever project she has, and it's going to have some noise and all, but it's not going to be like a banger. Like, she's not going to be like the most dopest thing out there. So I feel like she's kind of like very positive. Like, she understands that, like, you know, there's different new blood in the industry and all that, and she still thinks like, you know, she can have that same vibe as she used to, like, even though she's kind of like concerned. But what I'm getting is that even though like she's trying to like balance out her energies and come kind of like being positive with the whole situation, come at it being positive, that she's going to kind of be like sideline. So that's going to be the surprise for her, that she's not going to be kind of like as intense as she once was. But yeah, that was the reading. Thank you again. Please like, comment, and subscribe, all that good stuff. Thank you very much. And obviously you could tell I'm kind of like jittery because this is my second celebrity reading on YouTube, so it's kind of like it's kind of like funny for me, you know what I mean? But it's cool. But thanks again. Show support because of it. Okay, bye.